Electric lamps stipple the cotton field before you with an orange light, moving like a group of lethargic fireflies. From the field, the voices of the workers reach you in a soulful, united song. You're gently lulled to sleep as the song floats over you. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Hello, Lordy, pick a bale a day. You're pulled out of your slumber by a woman's pained scream and a collection of shouts rising from the field. The woman's screams taper off, soon replaced by the raw cries of an infant. Applause briefly fills the night, eventually fading back into song. Oh, Lordy, you wake up to the gentle crescendo of the worker's song, unsure if it ever ceased at all. You find yourself in a poker game on the third floor of the Weinkauf Hotel. Sometimes these things just happen. The man with the burned face to your left, he never gave his name, growls at the smiling man seated on your right. You ain't got the stomach. I killed men for lessons in that pot. Smiler plays on and takes the hand. The burned man bares his teeth. This hand comes down to the burned man and Smiler. Walk away, boy, says the burned man. Smiler drops his grin. Ain't your boy, Roy. Roy's eye twitches. Smiler outplays Roy again, and a new hand comes around. You've got an okay hand. Not a world beater, but not nothing. You play your hand well and push Smiler into folding. You scrape a good number of chips into your pile. Roy's preoccupied and has to be nudged into dealing. You finally hit a decent hand. Roy is still staring at Smiler. What'd you say your name was? I didn't, but it's Jackson. Jackson, repeats Roy. I knew a Jackson once. There's a fierce look in Roy's eye. You played it just right. You take the hand and the lion's share of the chips on the table. Smiler cusses. Roy cashes out and slips away. You play a few more rounds, but that hand practically sewed up the game. As you leave the hotel, you smell smoke. You cross the street and look up. Flames have engulfed the third floor, where you played the game. The fire spreads hungrily. People are leaning out of windows on the floors above, but you can't see any way to help. He's small for his age. Boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains.
Pa says he can't come with us. West.
You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks and bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit.
Pa says it has to be better.
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground.
Pa says we can't afford to feed Rover no more.
You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair.
Will you take him?
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush. No fence, gate, or sign marks the entrance to the cemetery. Just a moment ago, you weren't surrounded by graves, and now you are. How long have you been stepping on dead folks, fully unaware? A wood board, bleached white. Unknown. The word was painted on black by a steady hand, each letter signed with a flourish. Whoever made this memorial had more compassion than money. You're already quiet, so maybe it's silly. But you instill that silence with intent. What else could someone do? A sparrow calls. Seems birds don't have much respect for the dead. You notice the grave marker isn't dug into the ground, just propped up on a tree. Looks nicer now, but unmoored as these markers are, this grave in front of this tree, does this memorial even belong to it?
Excusez-moi.
Beckoning you over, the woman shows you a letter, beautifully typeset on thick vellum. You're struck by the scent of a fancy department store? She points on the parchment to the address.
This address, you know?
Her accent is very thick. You are dismayed to read the first paragraph. Lorem ipsum dolor sit Amet, and the address under the monogram in the letterhead. 12345 Road Street, Anytown, USA. The woman blinks, hopefully, leaning close over your shoulder.
Yes? You know this place?
She asks. Poor woman. She's been tricked. This place doesn't exist, you try to explain as loud and slowly as possible.
Of course you exist.
The woman snorts, thumping a fist to her chest. You struggle to make yourself understood, but the poor woman whisks the letter away and stomps down the street. Ah well, c'est la vie.